So ask him, what are you working on? And I don't want to hear no lollipop cake answer. I'm working on waking up earlier in the morning. I'm working on taking my necessary nutrients every single day. Nah, bro, I don't want to hear none of that. What in you, what demons in you, what issues, what problems that I don't see right now are you working on? If you intend on being this man's partner, you need to be aware and ready in case he is dealing with something that's really serious. Welcome back to another nighttime edition. And this is your guy, Sills the Man. This will probably be one of the most important videos in my playlist, The Love Brain of a Good Man. Check that out if you haven't. Binge on it, you know what to do. And I got this idea from one of my YouTube subscribers and supporters, Starlit Oracle. Thank you for this. But she said, Sills the Man, what are the questions I should ask a good man before we start dating? And when I saw this comment, I said, wow. That is a good one, and that needs to be talked about. Because you know I'm big time interested in building foundation. The process before the beginning, the process before the actual thing. In order to build something, in order to grow something, you have to make sure that earth is right. But before I get to that, if you like understanding the mind of a good man, if you are down with the get down, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that red button below this video box. Like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. Talk about it. Let me know what you think. And if you know someone who's dating or interested in dating and all that beautiful stuff, make sure you show them this video just to put them on a good track, because Sills the Man got you. Also, before I start giving y'all these questions, I highly suggest y'all ask. The one standard I want y'all to keep in mind when y'all ask these questions is to not make it seem like it is interrogation, because interrogation brings scary, intimidating, bad vibes. You want to keep cool, calm, and collected, but still get the information that you are seeking. So make sure you keep it natural. Let's get to it. The number one question you should ask a man before dating him is to start off by asking, what are your goals and what's your end game with us? Let's get straight to it. Why are you dating? Why are you interested in dating, and why are you interested in dating me? I always emphasize on doing things with intention and leading with purpose. And this is huge in dating, because in dating, not only are you trying to get to know the person, but you're trying to get to know your collective purpose with this person. You always want to make sure your goals align with his goals, and that his goals align with your goals, aspirations, wants, and needs. All that good stuff, important stuff. Get it out on the table right now. Now, once you figure out that he is aligned with you, his goals are aligned with you, his wants are aligned with yours, the second question I highly suggest you ask is to ask him, does he have any kids and or major responsibilities? Now I'm gonna split that question in half and talk about each one. Does he have any kids? That is one of the most important questions you can ask, because that brings a whole other line of questions. Are you still romantically involved with the children's mother? Are you still in love, and is it a potential chance that you get back with her? You have to know these things, because he is going to be connected to his children's mothers for the rest of his life. Just because they are not together doesn't mean they aren't connected. They created something together, so they are internally connected. So you want to make sure that you check that relationship and make sure it's not on a romantic level, so that you have a chance to be there with no issues. It also will bring up the question, how involved are you with your children? Because that tells what kind of man he is. Do you have any major responsibilities? Not every man has kids, but a lot of men take care of someone, like their mother, their grandmother, a relative who is stricken with disease or an injury. It's kind of similar to kids, because he has a dependable if this is the case. So you have to take that into consideration. But I also want to point out, this shows how mature, how serious, how caring, how nurturing he is. Because if he is all those things to these people, his kids or his dependent, then that means it's a higher possibility that he will be the same for you. Now notice I didn't say guaranteed, because a lot of people change up, especially to the ones they love, unfortunately. Like, they will do the most for everyone but their loved one. So I said higher possibility that if he takes care of his kids, that he takes care of his dependents, that he will take care of you. The third thing that you need to ask a man before dating him is actually telling him what you're looking for and asking him how he feels about that. So this kind of sounds like the first question, but it's actually different. In this instance, you are telling him what you are looking for, and you're asking him how he feels about it. And you do this to see his reaction, because a man can say anything. Anyone can say anything with their words. But if you closely pay attention to their reactions to the things you say, especially important things about you, it will tell you a whole lot more than what their mouth is actually saying. Because if you say, I'm looking for a marriage within, the next 5 to 10 years. I'm looking to have a home within the next 5 years. I'm looking to have kids within the next 6 years or so. If you have a plan and you present it to him, but his reaction does not match what he says, then that is a telling sign. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah, it sounds fine to me. Pay attention to body language. Sometimes body language speaks so much louder than words. As the saying goes, action speaks louder than words. And now you can add reaction speaks louder than words. The fourth thing you should ask a man before you start dating him is, how long has it been since your last relationship? And don't forget this one. Do you feel like you're ready to start anew? Don't ask one without the other. I want you to combine those two. That is a burger with the bun, peanut butter with the jelly. Gotta have them two together, okay? Now I'm gonna split this one in half too. Now you wanna know how long it's been since his last relationship, right? Because you wanna make sure you're not a rebound. Whatever time he tells you, you'll be able to read that and you'll be able to gauge that to sense if he's starting way too fast. Some people get over people quickly, I understand, but I feel like it's always easier on my mind and spirit to know that you've been out of a relationship long enough to heal, to forgive, and that you gave yourself time to move on. The second half, very important. Are you ready to start a new one? Some people could be out of relationships for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, but time does not matter when it comes to this specific question. Are you ready to start a new one? Because some people's hearts heal longer than others. Some men went through way more trauma than others. Some men were engaged or even married, and whatever happened, they divorced, and now they're venturing into a world they haven't been in for over a decade. So you got to consider these things. Are you actually ready to do this? Because a lot of unhealthy, bad things can happen if you don't put this into consideration. Like I said earlier, you could be a rebound. He can transfer his trauma from his last relationship to you. You can be his experiment to see if he is ready. One of the most important quotes that I have ingrained in my mind, which I have on my Instagram page, make sure y'all go follow that, Sills the Man, shameless plug, is, if you never heal from what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who will never hurt you. Healing takes time, and for some, it takes longer than others. The fifth thing you should ask a man before you start dating him is, what are your morals? What are your beliefs? What are your interests? Because a man could seem like he's perfect for you, right? Y'all vibing, the chemistry is rolling, y'all talking, laughing, y'all just a cheery couple right now. Can't go wrong, right? Until you find out he's a drag queen on the weekends. Once again, I have no judgment towards men who like to do that on the weekends. But if that is not aligned with your likes, that is going to be a big problem. Whatever a man's morals, whatever a man's beliefs, and whatever a man's interested in is going to be the most telling factor of who he is. You are what you eat, you are what you seek, and you are what you believe. So his morals that he's grounded on, the things he believes in, and the things that he likes will not only tell you so much about him, but it will let you know if y'all two can coexist based on your beliefs and your morals and your interests. The sixth thing that you should ask a man before dating him is, how well are you with communication? As y'all all know, if you're a follower of this channel, in fact, if you look up the word communication in a dictionary, you are going to see my picture. Because I stress communication almost every video I post, because I believe it is the most important part of any relationship, any union, any friendship, any business ship, anything ending in ship. Now, this is why it's important to know if he's good with communication, because communication is a two-way highway. Because of that, you need to know if he's well in listening and expressing himself. Let me say that again. You need to know if he's well in listening and expressing himself. Being a good listener is just not good enough. Expressing yourself well is not good enough. The most successful form of communicating is listening and expression. Because there's gonna be a lot of situations where you're gonna have to vent, where you're gonna have to let him know what's going on or whatever the situation is, and he has to have the ability to listen to you. And then on the other end, there's gonna be a lot of situations where he needs to express himself to you. He needs to tell you something, but does he know how to do that correctly and in a healthy manner? So that brings me to something else important about communication. Are you an angry person? Are you easily frustrated? Because if you are, that means you are triggered easily. And it's a higher possibility that you are violent. And we definitely ain't got time for that mess. Let me know now if you are disciplined enough to keep your frustration on a safe level. The last thing you want to do is get into a committed relationship with someone and they don't show you their angry side or their frustration side until you're already moved in with them and have kids with them and just so deep. So nope, we're gonna skip all of that. I need to know now. What's good with you? Number 7, one of my favorite questions because it pertains to what this channel is all about. What do you think a good man is? Now, if you watch my channel, you already understand how we roll, how good men roll, how we think, what we look for. So Sills got you on that front. So because of that, when he tells you what a good man is, pay attention to what he says. Because if he sounds like he don't know what a good man is, then you need to take note of that. It's not hard to think of what's good, because it's not hard to think of what's right. Being good is doing what's right. It's not a complex rocket science equation. If I ask you what a good man is, I'm gonna need that answer straight up. It's also not hard to think of when you are a good man, when you're living that life. When someone is living a certain life, and you ask them about that lifestyle, they are going to tell you what it's about fluently, without question, without problem. So pay attention with his reaction to that as well. Number 8, what's something that you're working on to be the best version of yourself? This is also another telling question that will give you a telling answer, because we all got issues. We all got something that we need to work on. For me, it's procrastination. I'm a big procrastinator, and I've been like that since my college days. If I had a paper due on Friday, I would wait until that Thursday night before that Friday to do that paper. Why? I don't know, but I am working on that. So ask him, what are you working on? Be honest with me. What are you working on to better yourself? And I don't want to hear no lollipop cake answer. I don't want to hear no politically correct answer. I'm working on waking up earlier in the morning. I'm working on taking my necessary nutrients every single day, as the doctor recommends. Nah, bruh, I don't want to hear none of that. What in you, what demons in you, what issues, what problems that I don't see right now are you working on? And this is not a question to impede on his privacy. This isn't a question to be nosy. But if you intend on being this man's partner, and if he is serious just as much as you are, y'all can work on this together. And there are certain things that you need to work on alone. I understand that too. But you need to be aware and ready in case he is dealing with something that's really serious. There are men out here that are really depressed. Some even suicidal, some fighting demons and internal battles. And this is also a good question because it shows if he's really working on that thing. Because if he is working on that thing, that shows he has determination and that he is serious to becoming a better man, a better person, and ultimately a better partner for you. So please do not walk into a trap blindfolded. Know what you're getting yourself into. The 9th question that I want to bring up that you should ask a man before y'all start dating is, what are you afraid to lose? This also says a lot about a man, because usually a man is willing to do anything for that thing he is afraid to lose. That is also a way to see what controls him. And not even if it's controlling him, it's a way to see the thing that is on his mind every day. His guide, his anchor. This question is also important because it tells you the quality of the things that are important to him. If the things he is afraid to lose are material things, or if they are important people in his life. And kind of piggybacking off of that, the last but not least, the 10th question that you should ask a man before you start dating him is, what can't you live without? Because there are so many things to live for, but what is that one thing you can't live without? Just like the 9th question, this is very important to ask because it is very telling of his character. So once again, I don't want you to put this man into an interrogation room. I don't want you to shoot off these 10 questions like it's an automatic rifle, because if you do, he will feel like he's being shot. Be smooth with it, be natural with it, but make sure you get this information. Make sure you get these answers before you even start dating, before you even get into a committed relationship. These 10 questions will tell you who he is and if he fits your puzzle piece. Man, I put a lot of sweat equity into this video, literally, because I turned off my AC so y'all wouldn't hear it. So this whole time I've been burning up, but I will do that for y'all. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope y'all learned something about understanding the mind of men. So be safe out there, live your life, and have fun. Y'all make sure y'all have a good rest of the night, and goodbye.